All right, guys, thanks for being here. And there's a lot of people online, 100 or so individuals. So again, thanks for being here. Let's just jump right in. How many people know about me? Oh, how many people don't know about me? Sorry, it's easier that way. Okay. Well, basically, are we all good? All right. So basically, what I'm about is I've had 2 near-death experiences, and from that, it's allowed me to understand our, say, superhuman abilities or superhuman capabilities that we all have. I've just been able to hone my superhuman abilities that we all have at such a high state that I now travel the world helping people transform their lives in any aspect of their life, whether it's that higher connection that we're looking for, health, wealth, relationships. Okay? So it's an open forum, and hopefully we have a mic somewhere here. Somewhere. Oh, awesome. Thank you. So are you going to be going around asking people questions? Okay. Yeah, not right now. Okay, perfect. So she's the woman that if you have any questions, she'll pick on you and then we can ask. It is an open forum. So the first half is really a talk and then a meditation. And then at 9:30, we're going to do part of the 21-day meta healings. If you're not familiar with that, we'll talk about it as we get closer to that time frame. Okay, so this talk is about receiving your gifts, right? So what does that mean? So, and I look at it from an exponential intelligence point of view. An exponential intelligence is the body of knowledge that I've dubbed exponential intelligence. That body of knowledge has been around since the beginning of time or even before. Basically, it's a human handbook, okay, on how humans work or how human structure works. Okay, it's not about getting a good job, making money, being happy or anything like that. It's literally like a physics book on how humans work. However, if you understand, say, the physics on how life works, having a fantastic career, having fantastic relationships, being healthy, right? Having that spiritual connection is a byproduct of, say, understanding the physics. Okay? So most of us think, and I emphasize that because as I scan the group, and I'll tell you some of my abilities, but as I scan the group, I can see that most of us is all about, say, love, being good, or being bad, or being judged. Basically, it's about judgment. Okay? It doesn't work that way. If you've looked at your life, whatever that you've done, religion, spirituality, working, getting intelligent, going to school, whatever it might have been, look at where you are now, right? Is it somewhere that you want to be? Could you be better on that? Okay? So this is about not saying that whatever you've done in the past is wrong. Okay? I'm not saying that at all, but could there be a better version of it? Say, for example, like religion, right? Religion is really powerful. I mean, look at Jesus and Buddha and Muhammad and some of the Abraham and some of those other great individuals that we don't know. Did something happen to the mic, or is it just me? Is it okay? Okay. Can you check online, honey? I'm still here. All right. It seems okay. Actually, it sounds better this way. Thanks. I was getting reverb. Anyways, it's good? Oh, awesome. Thanks. So look at religion, for example. Again, Abraham, Buddha, Jesus, and all those great, fantastic individuals, right? They achieved unbelievable gifts and unbelievable abilities. They were complete. They were happy. Does that make sense? So why aren't you? If you're practicing what they're teaching, right, then why are we getting the same results? And I'm not knocking religion down or anything like that, but a lot of times, what we've learned through religion and through spirituality, they might not be the exact message that they were practicing, because if you were practicing it, you would get the same results, or even close to it. But a lot of us in the world, we're not even close to it. Does that make sense to you? So why does that happen? Again, I'm not knocking any religion or spiritual movement down, but basically what I do for you, as you'll see, is that you get to have a higher understanding on what, say, Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad or any of those, Abraham, again, any spiritual practice or religious practice that you practice. So you get the similar results. Hey, that sounds fair, right? So let's get back to your gifts. So receiving your gifts. Many people think, well, it's a physical thing, right? I want more money. That's my gift. I want to be good to myself. Or my gift is, say, healing people. Or my gift is, say, helping young kids. Or my gift is like saving the whales or saving the trees. Or, again, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you look at your gifts, or if you look at the physical aspect, those people who do that, and then, again, you guys as well, are you really happy inside? So, because you're wanting to receive a gift or something that's out there beyond, say, your reach to make you feel complete. So that's why you're looking for that gift inside. Does that make sense to you? Okay? Most of us, again, think that it's something physical that they need to do to achieve that completeness. So I'm saying to you, and again, look at it statistically if you don't believe me, is that all the stuff that you're trying to, say, get out of yourself or pull into yourself will never satisfy you if you're not a complete being. So for example, say that you would think like $1 million would make you happy right now. Okay? But again, in almost 100% of the cases in their statistics, people who make like a quick $1 million, they literally destroy themselves. So would that be a gift? Right? Not really. So again, why do physical things that we try to achieve does not satisfy us? Okay? So that's one question to ask. And we'll do a meditation to help you out on that. Okay? The next aspect of that is that, well, it's not about the physicalness, right? So those are the success principles. It's not about what we do. It's not about, say, being our best at a physical level, right? Like success or intelligence. A lot of us like move away from it. And then what do? It's like, well, I'm going to be against, say, money. I'm going to be against, say, advancement or anything like that because, well, it's not God-driven. There's a lot of people who, say, embrace that. Okay, for several reasons, and we don't have to get into it unless you want to. So what you do is like, well, I'm going to suffer in this realm, and then I'll be a good person, and then I'll be happy on the other side. Most people do that as well. That's not really receiving your gifts. That's not really understanding why you're here. Okay? So what is that gift that we're really, really looking for? Okay? Again, that gift is nothing to do with anything physical, but once you understand that gift that you have inside you, and we'll do a meditation shortly, in just about 5 minutes. Once you have a gift, once that, say, that well is opened up for you, you would be amazed that the physical, say, pleasures or the physical attainment of whatever level, whether it's money, connections, relationships or anything like that, how fast it comes into you, because it's that connection that you're looking for. So for tonight, I'm going to help you receive the gift that you've always been searching for. That, well, neither you found, nor actually your family lineage. Because if your family lineage, say, was awakened at some level, they'd already have this gift. Again, it's no offense. I just scan you, and you haven't found that gift. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so if you guys want to stand or sit, whatever you want to do, we'll just do a quick meditation. And then we'll implement, or we'll help you instill those gifts, and then we'll talk a little bit more, but we'll mostly we'll open it up to, say, your questions. Okay. Taking a deep breath in, just noticing where you are, noticing the space around you, noticing you in your space. Again, noticing the lighting, noticing my voice as you pay attention to your spine. As I generate those frequencies that help you shift. Again, notice how you feel. So it's beyond a meditation or your normal meditation. Notice what that's about. As we take a deep breath in again, connecting to the group dynamics. Again, creating momentum for us. We need momentum. Right, it allows us to pull us out of those ruts. Allows us to push through those blocks that we face. Breath in again. Asking ourselves, how do I connect to pure source even stronger? Again, that question, how do I connect to pure source even stronger? As we settle into our spine. So noticing the top of your spine, where your skull is. Top of your shoulders, your mid-back, your lower back. Mm-hmm. As we settle in, notice how you're feeling. Again, taking a deep breath in. There we go. I'm just going to ask you a couple questions. How long have you been searching for your gift? Does anybody in your lineage actually know what that gift is about? Is that gift of physical awareness? So happiness, right? Love, understanding yourself, money, relationships, food. Whatever I talked about, is it a byproduct of this gift? So right there is the key. It's a byproduct of all those things that you want to feel complete. Has that gift been around you or with you all the time? Even before you came into this physical realm? Has that gift ever forsaken you, abused you, distorted you, judged you in any way? Even though you might have not known that you were connected to it. Using your gift, will it destroy anybody else, control anybody else, abuse anybody else? Again, another key point. Because many people who are quote unquote good, spiritual or religious wise, they think suffering, and we'll just ask that question, So suffering to achieve your gifts, that gift that you don't even know what it is, but at a deeper level you do, will that bring that gift out? Or will you ever receive that gift? Praying to a certain God or a certain definition of God. Will that help you achieve your gift or use your gift? And just go deeper into that question as I generate those frequencies that help you shift a bit more. Say you had a pure definition of what God is or what pure source is. Would it, say praying to that, would it help you achieve or use your gifts? So even that doesn't work. Would praying to your higher self, your spirit body, your angels, whatever else that you pray to or look up to, will that help you unwrap those gifts that's already yours? Do you have to pay or suffer? I think we've pretty much nailed down every belief system that there is. So as we take a deep breath in, you can start to notice your spine. Start to notice the groin area, so the base of the spine, your tailbone. So help you open up. It's a spark of that gift. It's always been there. But many of us don't know that we have that gift. It's like a Christmas present that we lost, that we never unwrapped. So I continue to work on you. Let's just create that scenario. So imagine that you've done with Christmas. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, imagine that there's a present for you. You just found it. Noticing the package that it comes in. Is it small? Is it big? Is it wrapped? Is it new? Is it cool? Wrapping paper? Again, the details. And if nothing comes to you, no worries. I still work on you, same way. So where did you find this? Like in your mind's eye, was it right there for you? Was it hidden? Notice the details around that package. As you note your solar plex, noticing that gift. As a note, many of you came here to, say, heal yourself of something, not necessarily what we're talking about. That's just a given. Okay? I don't need to know what's going on in your life, because I'm not the one that heals you. I'm not the one that even gives you this gift. I'm just the one that shows you what's already deep inside you. Okay? So you don't have to worry about the specific thing that you came here for. That'll resolve on its own. Or start to resolve. So as we approach that package, hold it in your hands. Just notice how you're feeling. Again, how does it feel in your hands? Does it feel strong, or does it feel awkward? Do you feel comfortable holding that gift? And you might ask, well, why are you feeling the way you do? Whether it's good or bad. A good number of you don't even say deserve or feel like you deserve that gift. Why would that be? We don't even know what it is. And yet, again, a good number of you, as I scan you, are going, I don't deserve this. Who knows, it could be a paper clip inside there. So you're already assuming off the get-go that you're not good enough to receive a gift you don't even know about. Or maybe you do know about it, because we all know at a deep level. Solid breath in. I was going to guide you to the next step, but if you don't deserve it, it's not going to work out well. So we'll just hang here for a bit, and if you need to sit down, that's cool. Totally fine. Get comfortable. Might be a little longer than expected. But then, as we take a deep breath in and reset, let's just amp up those frequencies for you a bit more. And we'll talk about the frequencies that I generate. But let's go back to the gift. We haven't even opened it out. And note how you feel. Again, non-deserving. Or some of us like, yes, I'm deserving. But you're wanting that deserving because you want to find a solution to the problems that you have. It's not about the gift. You want to get out of the life that you have. Or you think that'll give you something that you think you want. So we have non-deserving and then wanting something to escape to. Just like everything else you've tried. As we take a deep breath in, noticing the gift that's you're holding in your hand. It won't satisfy you. In fact, that gift will magnify those patterns for you. So what we'll do is we'll just count from 20 down to 0. Okay. And I'll help you filter out all those things that have distorted you, have brought you to, say, the decision of what that gift is about. So a strong deep breath in. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. As you go through your history, through your family's history, non-deserving moments, abuse moments, whatever has, say, misaligned you from your path. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Again, separating your false identity from your true identity. How do you feel? As I help you separate. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let me just help you separate your, say, top-level potential to where you are now, even if it's for a flash. So we'll just count down from 5 to 0 again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Just nod your head, yes, no. Did you feel that expansive state? Okay. So even if it was for a flash that I helped you create that expansive state in you, and again, it's not hypnosis, it's nothing like that. You're totally present, more present than ever before, more present than how you operate in daily life. So that expansive state, even if it was for a flash for you, so for some of you that can hold on to it, that's lingering, it's awesome. Would you be deserving of that gift? Would you be deserving of, say, better solutions in your life? Would you have better health? Would you have a higher connection to spirit, your higher self, whatever you define? Would you be healthier, happier, more money? Do you have to sell yourself in any way to be in that state? You don't. A lot of you like that place. So let's go do it again, just so you hang out in that space just a lot longer. By the way, I live from that space pretty much all the time. And I've helped many people live from that space pretty much all the time. So as we take a deep breath in, we'll just count from 5 to 0 again. Right? 5, 4, and even for those who just walked in, you'll feel that same space. 3, 2, 1, 0. Again, notice the confidence in you, the strength in you. Notice any problem that you have issues with from the state of mind that you're in. How easy is it to solve or overcome, no matter what it is. So as an aside, is it your problems that's stopping you, or is it you? Expand that for you a bit more. You may be wondering how I do that to you. I can talk about that later. But as you stay in this space, what I'm doing is, for a brief second, or longer, hopefully, you're actually seeing yourself for who you are, without the distortions, abuse, or anything else. Do you notice in this state, there's nothing wrong with you? Or you could easily recover from whatever is wrong with you. You can even ask yourself, if you continued this state, could you recover from anything that's going on in your life? Would any of the resources that you need to be fully recovered, complete, and for some of you, if you want to be millionaires or billionaires, would that be okay for you, or would that show up for you? Happens all the time, by the way. It's not magic. It's just straight out physics. Just taking a deep breath in. As you look at that gift in your hand, looking at it from your higher state of being, do you deserve that gift? In its rightful manner. Not because you want something. Not that you want to escape. Not that you're non-deserving. You might ask yourself, well, why do you want it? Let me just help you out. You pay attention to what's in your hand, that gift that's you, because it's a reflection of who you are. So taking that deep breath in, noticing that gift that's in your hand. Unwrap it. Take off the wrapping paper. Any ribbons or bows? Is there a card attached to it? For those who have a card attached, read it. See what it says. And again, go ahead and open the box. I see a lot of smiles on people's faces. It's not shoes, a purse, diamond ring, a car, money. You know why it's so special for you? Basically, it's a gift showing you the brilliance that you are. That makes sense to you? Right? So notice how that shows up for you. Does that gift have a message to you? Let's go ahead and take that gift, hold it in the palm of your hands. Obviously, you want to take that gift no matter where you go. Where would you place it in your body? Or maybe you could even just smother it all over your body. It's like lotion, brilliance lotion. So as you do, whichever way you'd like it, it's all up to you. Notice how you feel. Probably easier, more sustainable that way. It's easier to sustain where you are. So as we end, you go through life after this. Doesn't mean that everything is going to be perfect. First of all, for many of you, all those things that doesn't allow you to stay in this space have to get removed. So there's work on your part. So be aware of that. Okay? You can't maintain these frequencies by holding on to those old frequencies that you have. Okay? Or the old garbage mindset, belief systems, ideas, paradigms, people, foods, whatever it is, that's not good for you. Right? If it's not good for you, why hold on to it in the first place? So again, allow it to release. Sometimes we don't know what's good for us and what's not. Right? We hold on to abuse patterns, distortions. As I continue to work on you, I'll give you an example. This person got beat up by their spouse, but they still wanted to hold on to that. Logically, it doesn't make sense. Are there patterns for you that don't make sense? So take a deep breath in. Notice how you feel. So as you go through life, as you clean up, always keep referring to how you feel in this moment. It'll help you go through whatever you're cleaning up. Okay, the next phase, as you clean up, that's where the fun starts. Right now is getting you to that point, that starting point. Okay? It's got nothing to do with me, by the way. Nothing to do with exponential intelligence, the body of knowledge that I help you with. It's basically all the garbage that you've collected that does you no good. Got to get rid of all that so you can get to the starting line. Once that happens, it's amazing on how fast and forward you go. So noticing your breath, noticing the space around you, opening your eyes, welcome back. So just to simplify, that gift was basically an understanding or a state of being between a connection to you and your spirit. That makes sense to you, right? So it's a state of being. That's what the gift is. No matter what you do in life, it's all about connecting to your higher spirit. So if you haven't heard me talk about this before, your life existence here today is only 1% of what you are made of. The other 99% is that timeless being. Many of you know it as your spirit. Okay? But I don't like to use spirit because it's very distorted. There's lots of different definitions of it. Okay? But we'll call it spirit from now on just because it's easier. So you're always operating from that 1%. And no matter what you do, looking for money, saving the planet, connecting with somebody, having babies, whatever that you, abusing yourself, whatever you think that you are doing is all about wanting to go into that 99%. Does that make sense to you? Okay. So there's a duality there. And most people have heard about duality, and even its dualities in quantum physics. But let me explain my definition of duality, and it's not mine, it's exponential intelligence. So most times, and then we'll talk about it at spirit level, right? Duality is that there's your spirit, and then there's you, right? Most people think, well, that's duality. It's really not, because it's two separate items. To be dual, it's more like hot and cold. Is there a difference? Does that make sense to you? So it's a transition. So if you think of duality as your spirit and you, that's a disconnect. You can never be complete. You can never say transfer over. You can never understand your spirit. Or if you want to go me and God. Again, either way, whichever way you look at it, they're like two separate switches. It's not a dimmer. You can't connect the two circuit-wise. Does that make sense? And that's why people never figure out what duality means, even in like quantum physics. They think it's two separate items. It's not. Or two things living in, say, different spaces, or two identical, say, photons having the same experience that are thousands of miles apart. That's not duality, literally. So duality is understanding that you are a range. Right? Again, like a dimmer switch, bright, dark. Does that make sense to you? Your spirit, your human form, 1%, that's what we operate on. So your dimmer switch is set on very, very low. You're using 1% of your capabilities. Okay? So what I did for you was just raise your dimmer switch to a higher value. Like say 90, not even 90%. For most of you, it'd be like 20%. So you're getting out of the 1% space into your spirit value. And that's what you want. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. And that's why religion, spirituality, and everything else that's taught the way it is never brings you into those higher realms. I don't care, like Buddhism and all those things that, people go, well, I went to this shamanic healer and I went into unbelievable states of myself. You did, but you can never maintain it, and those people who did destroy themselves from it. I hear it story after story after story. They always have to go to that shamanic healer, or do drugs, or do whatever, right? That's not you, that's using somebody else's abilities, by the way. So you can't maintain that space. Okay? Do you guys have any questions? No questions? Wow. He's got a question.
You speak of the exponential intelligence. Do we all have the ability to go there and retrieve information? If so, how?
Yes. So I speak of, just to clarify for the video and those people online, so I speak of exponential intelligence, right? That I tap into. Do we all have that ability? Yes. In fact, that's just the structure. So, for example, exponential intelligence, like the air that we breathe, you know, the chemical interactions, right, that create us, okay? There's a higher, say, set of physics rules that create the other side for us. Does that make sense? So just let me explain what exponential intelligence is about, because it's not some woo-woo magic stuff. It's not something that you believe it. It's just like a constant, like physics here, right? It's just like gravity or anything else, electromagnetism, anything like that. It has, say, rules, right? So you have physical, like, rules here. This is, you know, like gravity and so on, like that. At this level, we do, I'll give you a health example, you know, like surgeries, medicines, working out, foods. That's a physical layer that we do. Okay, at that level, it's just like physics, like, again, like gravity, like whatever else, electromagnetism, any physics principle here. You go to the mid layer, and that's the energy system of your body. So that would be, you know, like psychic abilities, intuition, chakras, I don't know, people who cast spells, all those things are at that level. Okay, so it's the energy systems of your body. Does that make sense to you? So there's a physics principles at this level that dictate what happens at the physical world. Okay, this would be like quantum physics, right? So subatomic particles that, say, control the physics of this world. Okay, so you go down to this next level. So there's a bridge layer between the physical realm and the spirit realm. So you go down to that level. So let's just call it the third layer. It's actually the fifth layer. And at that level controls everything above it. Okay, so that level would be your spirit level. So that level is a reflection. So you're basically, it's a blueprint of your life. So your life here today is literally a blueprint of how your spirit sees itself. Does that make sense to you?
I'm following so far.
Yeah. So if you understand how the mechanics, and that's what exponential intelligence is, on how to say, the mechanics or the programming on how to redesign that blueprint, and then you'll figure out life. So, and everybody has access to it. The way I connect you to it is that you don't have to have a near-death experience. I just resonate at a higher frequency, which actually forces you to resonate at a higher frequency, and then you start to remember who you truly are. So I just push your dimmer switch further over to an enlightened type person.
Push me a little more.
Okay. It's working good so far, right? Other questions?
At some point in time, I think I heard you say that there wasn't karma.
Yes.
Can you expound on that?
Sure. Yeah, there's no karma. No. So let me explain. So when most people think, well, what's your definition of karma?
Good or bad, you know,
right.
Like it's
so,
bad karma. Or
isn't karma, most people go, if you did something in a previous lifetime, you're paying for it this lifetime.
Yeah.
Right? Or what goes around comes around, right? So, which is true, but those different layers I talked about, okay, at the physical realm, say, whatever you dish out, yes, does come back to you because those are the frequencies that you're resonating. Okay? But people go, well, I'm always being abused. I'm not dishing out abuse. At some level, you might, it's not that you are, but you're the flip side of abuse. So that's why you attract abuse. So what goes around comes around. So that's accurate. Does that make sense? So at this physical level, yes, there would be a karma, but most people think that you did something bad in a previous lifetime, and now you're paying for it. Okay? That's not true. Okay? Because what happens, and I see previous lifetimes, I see generational patterns, most people aren't really awakened to go, or there's not a judge or a court out there that goes, okay, you did something bad here, you're going to pay for it in this lifetime, unless you truly, truly believe that at a base level. But most people aren't awakened, so when I see people, if they've been abused, or they're an abuser, most likely they've done that time after time after, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. So in that scenario, there's no karma. You're not paying back anything. Okay? And then furthermore, say in a religious text, they always go, well, even after your last, say, dying breath, you're awakened, you're absolved of all your sins. Does that make sense? You've heard all that, right? So what they mean by that, if there was karma, the way we see it, is like, if you were awakened, why would you be absolved of all your sins, right? If there's like a judge, a court system and all that, right? So that doesn't make sense. So at a deeper level, most people don't awaken to their lifetime experiences here. So when they cross over, right, they still hold on to their lifetime experiences, and then they recreate it in their next lifetime. And that's where the distortion occurs. Since nobody can explain it, they go, well, you did something wrong, and now that's why you have a shitty life here. Does that make sense? Okay. You run from a lot of guilt, by the way. What?
What can you do to change it?
Okay.
I mean, if you're carrying
Yeah.
what you learned in this lifetime with you when you pass over.
Right. So for you specifically, you run from a lot of guilt that's in your family. That makes sense to you? So that's why you're asking about karma. And you're at a level, probably from the work that you've done with me, that you're pushing against, say, the family paradigms or belief systems that you've really, really held on to deep. So it might have taken you a little while to change with the work that I do, but now you're getting to the point. It's like, hey, this stuff doesn't make sense anymore. So that's why you're pushing against everything in your life. Does that make sense? Right down to the last detail, which is really good. So congratulations for that. So that's the new, say, handbook on, say, how life actually runs for you. And that'll come shortly for you. That's why the question happens. Okay? So you're welcome. That lady back there with the stripes. Striped sweater. You guys watch SpongeBob? No SpongeBob? Remember they talk about the best time to wear a striped sweater? No, never mind. I watch it with my kids, SpongeBob. Never mind. What? Best time to wear a striped sweater is all the time, according to SpongeBob. Sorry. What was yours? Let's get serious. What was your question?
I had my first experience with an energy healer,
Mm-hmm.
and he was picking up a lot of outside influences, dishonor, false beliefs. And at one point, he said, we're going to cut the cord.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, it was, let's send healing energy. How do you decide whether you should cut the cord or send healing energy?
Sure. So you're a healer? Or you went to a healer?
I went to a healer.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. And again, I'm not knocking anybody down. But most healers, do you want to come up here, sweetie? I'll just cut the cord for you. If that's what you want to call it. So most people, again, they have this rendition on how stuff works. But, if there's always exceptions to the rule, then you're not at the top level scale on how stuff works. Okay? So if you're in energy medicines and so on like that, you're usually going through traditions and knowledge that really isn't as accurate as you think. So when he says he cuts the cord, he basically disconnects you from everything else, and then he reconnects you with him. So, and that's why you'll have more and more questions, and basically, there you go. And then the way you run your pattern, since you don't know who you are, really, say you do disconnect the cord, you'll reconnect to other people, or the same people. Does that make sense? To, say, create an identity for yourself. So is it really about connecting the cord, or is it really about finding your identity of yourself? Does that make sense to you guys? So you really have to understand. And again, that guy might be accurate, or the person might be accurate, but at that level that they're at, say they're accurate, but at a higher understanding, well, there's a deeper, say, reason why things, say, get latched onto you. You literally invite people, or things, or entities, or whatever that's out there to help you. So, and you play a victim a lot of times, although you think you're strong. So, again, a perfect recipe for a ton of things to connect with there. That makes sense? So, anyway, let's disconnect you. And as confirmation for you, you'll feel like crap after this. Okay? You'll feel really, really empty, especially along your spine. You feel really empty because that's where you have issues, especially on this side for you. And the reason why I say that is because you create an image of who you are according to who you're with. Does that make sense to you? So, since you can't connect with anybody, there's no feedback. So you'll always, it's like a loop, and you'll feel emptier and emptier. And then it's like you'll lose your identity for just a bit, and then you go, wait a second, I don't have to connect to anybody. Everything that I need is here. And then that's where you start feeling good. So when you start feeling not good, it's a good sign that everything is clearing out for you. Does that make sense to you?
Thank you.
So be aware of that.
I feel lucky I'm visiting from Tucson.
Oh, you are?
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad you're here. Yeah, so did that make sense to you guys? Again, as I work on you, sometimes you don't feel good because, again, it's like surgery, right? Say I help you remove, and then what I do is very surgical. I help you remove that spiritual tumor, whatever it might be for you, okay? So it's your job, depending on how healthy you are, on how fast you recover. Simple as that, okay?
Hi, I've been following you for a really long time, and I feel like I can see glimpses of that like higher, better version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I feel like I get closer to that, I get derailed, or I have like a blinder on or a block.
Yes.
Is it something that like we can just like keep listening and following and like follow
Yeah.
the path and you'll get there, or is it something that's like that I can't see that needs
No.
working on? 'Cause I know a lot of
Yeah,
people-
for you specifically, you really have nice abilities, but those abilities distort you because you don't know how to hold on to them. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So with strong abilities, actually, you need a lot of, say, strength, but since you don't, you get, say, whipped around, and that's what distorts you. So that's what it's really about. And those sources or, say, realities that you connect with, do you want to come up? I'll just connect with you really quickly. So think of it, you're a kite. You get blown into the wind, but there's nothing to anchor you, so you just literally get lost. And it takes you days maybe for you to go, where am I? Does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. So let's just anchor you. And then sometimes, since we're not confident with ourselves, you have a lot of knowledge, and then when you listen to me, it's like, oh, that's right. But then you don't apply that knowledge because you don't think you're deserving enough. Does that make sense to you? So this meditation that we did earlier will anchor you. So what I'm helping you with is just locking you into your body. Mm-hmm. And since you can't get out, you'll probably get dream states or nightmares on why you stepped out of your body and prefer to stay out of your body. So be mindful of that. It's a good thing, okay? Mm-hmm. Some of it is not even your lifetime here. Most of the fear that you have about life comes from 3 or 4 lifetimes. Mm. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Do you have dreams about strange, things that resonate but doesn't? It seems like you have dreams of your previous lifetime.
I have a lot of dreams about a house.
Yeah. So in today's society, we really don't know how to die properly, and we really don't know how to be born properly. So anyway, I just locked you, especially into the groin area, so you'll feel really, really heavy. And then memories of abuse and all that stuff, either from this lifetime or previous lifetimes, will come up. But you can't escape it because you're locked, and you'll have to deal with it. And then that's how you move on. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, and then we'll pick the lady and this lady. Hi.
I'm just going to be honest and say that a lot of this stuff is over my head, and I'm on a spiritual journey, and it's like I just want it, you know. I want.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah. So, and I try to explain it as simple as possible. But you know, if you say have a certain expectation, like you do in life, you always have a certain expectation on how life should be, how life it is. Even if you had that perfect scenario, if it doesn't say match up perfectly with your expectation, you'll never be happy. Does that make sense to you? Okay? So you actually do understand it at a deeper level, but you prefer not to because it's not according to your expectations. It's happened to you all the time. That's why people, well, they disappoint you all the time. Does that make sense to you?
But I keep searching for something that's going to help me get there.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So just the way people disappoint you all the time, I'll disappoint you all the time because your life will get worse. Because what you're expecting is, again, a vision that's not accurate. Okay, do you want to come up, sweetie, real quick? Does that make sense? Okay. Although, plenty of times, are you married or in a relationship? You've had 3 before?
Yeah.
Yeah, so. By the way, I know everything about you, so. Which probably scares her even more.
Might have scared you.
No. I've seen a lot worse, sweetie. No worries. Anyway, so for example, the 3-year relationship, they're actually good relationships, but you know, no matter how good it gets, you know, you're always expecting something else, so that, again, it doesn't fit well. So let's help you break that pattern. It kind of goes from your mom, from what I'm saying, or maybe your dad. Your dad, can't quite tell. Because your dad might have a feminine frequency to him. Does that make sense to you? Or, well, from what I see, you might think that he's really like a man or macho man type, strong type man. Yeah?
He passed away when I was a child.
Okay, got it. So maybe that's why he comes up. Anyway, your dad has a female frequency. Or say he passed away as a child, your mom adopts a male frequency to run the household. Does that make sense to you? So it happens a lot. You know, like wartime, right? Soldiers go out to war, they die, right? So what is a woman left to do? Take care of the household. But they don't do it from a strong woman perspective. They do it from a man's perspective, right? So that's why I see kind of a, where your mom might be more masculine. Anyway, nothing, say, is good enough, basically, that pattern. And you try to operate from that pattern unconsciously, that's all. So let's take you out of that pattern. And then, like, magically, what you've been looking for will appear for you, I would say, in just a few days. You'll get to see, say, how blessed you are right where you are. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because it's really nothing that you're searching for. You just want to be. That's all. And then we can let go of, you know, the family dynamics, not being good enough and all that other stuff that, you know, you're always trying to be good enough. Does that make sense? Yeah, very nice. There you go, sweetie. Continue hand. This happens, I use this example, lawyer, friend of mine, $100 million a year. You think that's good enough. He doesn't feel good, like he's good enough because of that similar pattern. So you remove that pattern, and that money is actually doesn't destroy him. It actually helps him better. Does that make sense to you? So it's really nothing outside of yourself that will help you. It's just finding your inner gift. So now you have it. And it's really that simple for you. And you'll be amazed because since you were 12, 13, you were searching from what I'm seeing. Other questions? You can pick. Yeah, sure.
Hello. So I feel like I'm always late, and then I feel like a part of me is like, no.
Can you talk louder, honey?
I feel I'm always late.
Yeah.
I know it's other issues, but I feel like part of me is stuck somewhere else or like trapped in another.
I can see that you're always never good enough. If that makes sense to you. You never show your gifts. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. So if you never show your gifts, you can never go on stage. So there's a hesitation for you to show up for life. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So so from a physics standpoint, you would literally be stopping time. You literally try to stop time. And it's happened to you several times where time is stopped for you, from what I'm seeing. That makes sense? So what that means is that, say something tragic happened to you, maybe 16, 17, you took a snapshot of that time frame, and then you operate from that time frame, although you're older than 16, 17. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does that make sense to you guys? So say there's your life is a like a film strip, right? You take a little snapshot of that, and then no matter how old you get, you always view that snapshot, no matter how old you are. And it scares the hell out of you. So you're scared to show up in relationships, in career, or anything like that. And that's why you never go far. It's nothing to do with your abilities, the way you look, although you think you look this and that, and you're not good enough. But none of that is true. Do you want to come up, sweetie?
Sure.
I'll just get rid of that for you. By the way, did you have a sister that died or something like that? Or a sibling? Your father? Did your mom have a pregnancy that didn't work out?
No, I did.
You did? Okay. So anyway, that pregnancy that didn't work out, that's wrapped up in you as well. So even that distorts you. That makes sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, there's no judgment or shame on my part, but a lot of that on your part. Even if you do something kind, you'd still have judgment and shame on your part. So, and you're just scared. So, it's hard to be lovable if you're scared. Hence, relationships don't work out. By the way, as I work on one individual, I'll be working on the rest of you as well, even if you're online. So, and let's help your father cross over properly. Somehow you're attached to him. And that's another way of stopping time, because he's at a place where there is no time. So if he's latched onto you, right, out of fear, there you go. How are you feeling?
I feel exhausted.
Yeah. Well, you're catching up to time because you're here. It's like I see you like hours behind. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Which you always feel like you're hours behind. So no matter how much work you do or how efficient you are, you'll feel like you're hours behind. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So now you're on time, and you'll see how much time you have and how fast you are, because you're very efficient. You've figured out ways to be really efficient. Now you really will be.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So do you guys understand that there's deeper reasons why stuff happens to us? Okay? So the same thing with your gifts and everything. That's there for you. The reason why you want that gift, say again, true connection with yourself, is not for what you think it is. It's for a grander purpose. And we're here. Who else? That guy over there. Well, we'll get to you. So, I don't know, whoever, that guy back there. And then we'll just walk around. Yeah, the guy in the back.
Good evening. So I'm trying to improve my abundant state so I can be a better manifester.
Sure.
I'm just trying to figure out what's holding me up, where my blocks are.
Sure. Do you want to come up? We'll quickly work on you real quick. It's really hard to create abundance if one, you think that abundance comes, and this is how most people think of abundance. You know, most people think that is that, you know what, I'm going to get successful and then I'll work on myself. Does that make sense? I'm going to get rich and then I'm going to have all the habits of wealthy people. Does that make sense to you? It's really hard to create that way. Okay? Even if you had, say, manifested, again, a lottery pick, you would lose that money in a very short amount of time. Okay? So successful people who, say, maintain or accumulate success, which I call significant success, they have all the habits of, say, wealthy type individuals. Okay? No matter where they are. Most people go, well, I need the money first before I act accordingly. It never works out that way. And you might go, oh, I'm not like that. Almost all of you are like that. That's why you are where you are. If you're lacking money, it's just straight out. I'm not saying it to be mean or anything. If you're lacking money, you don't have that success habit. It's simple. Right? If you're resonating, and it's not about being good or bad or anything like that. If you're resonating with, say, unhealthy patterns on success, money won't accumulate to you. Many of you have, and case in point, many of you make a lot of money or money comes into you, but do you notice something shows up? Like something goes bad, something goes wrong, right? You get, say, a windfall of a lot of money, right? Right afterwards, something happens to you where you have to spend that money. Does that make sense to you guys? Why is that? It's not freak accidents. It's literally that your status is not holding on to money. So let's help you understand that. And then not to pick on you or your color, but we're an accumulation of, well, we're the rendition so far of, say, our family lineage, right? And then everything that's happened to you. So, for example, women or men, you are accumulation of everything that's happened to women. You would have to be. You're the latest, say, version. Does that make sense to you? So all the destruction, distortion, the goodness of women, and all the abuse that women have had, that's you. How much you run from that pattern depends on how awakened you are on how you're going to accept that pattern. Right? So for you, you're colored. So all the distortion, slavery, all those things are in you. So it's not a good match if you want to become abundant, right? Those individuals who are colored or, you know, ethnic minorities and so on, a lot of times they might be abundant, but that abundance abuses them. Look at case in point, colored people who are in sports. A lot of them can't handle the distortions. So it magnifies the distortions that they are, right? And again, non-colored people, the same thing. So let's help you remove the identity that you have, because you identify strongly with your color and then all the abuse that's gone into your color. Does that make sense to you, my friend? Yep. So even if you're not in trouble, what's going to happen? If he's resonating, he will be the one that gets spotted out, and he's a good guy. So, anyway, let's get rid of that. And for other people as well, I'm a woman. I'm, for guys as well. Guys run patterns similar. There we go. So for you, my friend, there'll be a lot of hatred coming out of you because you suppress it. A lot of hatred and anger because you want to be controlled, you want to be good, so to speak. The reason why you can't suppress it, you can't just swallow it. And I'm not saying you go out there and rage, but the reason why it's there, because that has been used to control you, whether it's your father or, figures, the general public, whatever. So it comes out of you to go, gosh, this has to change, and I'm going to do something about it. So use it in that respect, not to destroy yourself or to get into trouble or anything like that. Okay, it's directed focus. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. So, and then that's where you get the courage, the strength. And again, if you're making, say, wealth. There you go. Say if you're trying to create wealth from an "I'll show you" type attitude, it destroys you. Right? I'm going to show them type. You can make the wealth, but then that wealth turns into greed and then control. Did you guys ever see The Incredibles? That guy that tries to sorry. There you go. And then whatever pain that you have from people, that's your friends and so on, that's been abused, or I don't know if you had somebody commit suicide or whatever that is, that pattern, like releasing from you. Does that make sense? Yeah. So they're gone too. Right, buddy? You bet. So, how do you feel? Yeah. In your power, right? That's where you want to be, and you'll attract. So once you resonate with that power, then again, that gift that I helped you with, again, once you resonate, say, with that power, you'd be amazed at how things show up for you, whatever it might be, to help you with your business, personal situations, whatever it is, it'll start showing up. Those things that aren't beneficial for you, obviously they'll have to disappear. Okay? So, yes?
I drove a long ways today.
Okay.
From Addison, Wisconsin, just here.
Well, thanks for being here.
Well, I had to do it. Sometimes you feel drawn.
Of course.
You feel drawn to do.
Yes.
I've been working on myself for quite a long time, and I've been very, I think, patient.
Yes.
Right? And, but I'm here for a reason. And I got a feeling that I don't even have to ask you anything. You already know.
No, you really don't.
So we might as well just get right to it.
But it's a nice conversation. No, do you want to come on up? I'll work on you real quick. You've even gone to the point where you've had about 4 near-death experiences to experience what life is all about. It's like, God, if I can just, because people do that. You know what I mean? They'll try like anything once, like you have.
It was kind of funny because when I was going to tell you, I had like 2 near-life experiences.
So, yeah. So anyway, and then 3.5, 4 near-death. One's like a near-death type experience. So, but what happens is that, your spirit is around you, and your spirit starts to lift up, right? And then you get slammed back in, and as you get slammed back in, you don't reset right. And then that's where time gets distorted. So basically, you're always trying to find yourself. You never feel complete, if that makes sense. No matter what you do, will never make you feel complete. No, does that make sense to you? You're always lost. You're always like maybe a split second just behind or forward. You know what I mean? You're never like in sync. That's because of those near deaths. So every time you've had that, you get distorted a bit more and a bit more. So again, that goes back to, say, your gifts, where you're truly aligned between, say, your spirit and your physical form. I'm not going to get into the science, but just to give you guys some knowledge. So I reset him. So your spirit body is the only thing that's real for you here. Most people think it's the other way around. Your body is solid and you're complete here. You're not. Okay? Nothing is real in this reality. Okay? The Holy Ghost that they talk about in a lot of religions, that's your body. It's not the other way around. Your spirit creates an identity, a hologram, that you think is you, your body. It becomes so real, we associate with just the physical form and nothing else. So that's that separation we talk about. Okay? So your spirit is literally like a computer program. If you guys played video games, right? There's a person, right, that you can control. So that image that gets created, the computer has to know exactly how to create or where to create that image. So in his case, for example, his spirit thinks is here, but in reality, it's a little distorted. His spirit creates it here. And then sometimes he literally goes back and forth. Does that make sense to you? And then time goes, okay, where the hell am I? Kind of like Pong back in the day. But anyway, let's pull you back in. And then all those things that you've learned about, okay, you'll find a lot of them, maybe not the best knowledge out there. But the nice thing is the ones that are good, you'll like catapult really fast. Okay? So I just gave you like, and help you unlock, say, the master key you're looking for. So you'll move fast because you've accumulated a lot of knowledge. Whether it's good or bad knowledge, that's not the point. If it's bad knowledge, you learn the opposite of what not to do. If it's good knowledge, you just accept it. So either way, right? And that's the way, say, successful or significantly successful people are. They're not going, I'm not going to go do this experience, or I'm not going to go do that. No matter what experience comes to them, they take advantage of it, they learn from it, and move on. Okay? How you feeling?
Good.
Do you feel like one? Mm-hmm. Not like 2, 3, 4 of you sometimes? All right, buddy? I feel pretty good. Yeah, it was nice, isn't it? That's what you've been looking for. You bet. So, other questions? I don't know, you pick. Ooh, that little kitten, that's so cute. Do you want to just come on out, sweetie? What's your question, hon? So cute. How old are you?
9.
You're 9?
Yeah.
Cool.
My question is, well, sometimes me and my mom will just like sort of like quiver at like a random moment, and I wonder like why that happens.
So sometimes your mom quivers at random moments?
Yeah, me too.
I'm not exactly sure why that happens, but you have really nice abilities. Does that make sense to you? When you see people, you see more than what they're talking about. Does that make sense to you? Do you mind if I touch you real quick? Just work on you. So when she sees, she actually is a feeler. So she senses more than, say, what most people sense. So, but sometimes what happens is like, say, with your mom, right? She's unsure of herself, or she gets into anxiety states, and then you literally, your mom might not quiver, but you would see her like shake, because you're seeing a deeper layer of what's happening to her. So, you know, like, for example, for her abilities, have you guys seen people who are really, really angry? You can really sense or feel their anger, right? So she's more sensitive. So whatever emotion that you're, say, sending out, she actually has a sense for that. So your mom becomes, say, insecure or unsure of herself or anxious from what I'm seeing. So you get to see her quiver. So let's help you understand that. Kind of cool, isn't it? I'm not pushing you around, but there you go. There you go. So you get to see it and then understand what's happening there. Does that make sense? Is that good? Is that okay? Okay, thanks. So, other questions? You pick, whatever.
Hello. I was wondering if you could maybe suggest a couple of spiritual tools that could maybe
spiritual
help.
what?
Spiritual tools.
Tools? Sure.
Tools to go ahead and maybe help me to function at a higher level of love and acceptance.
Yeah. So the question was if I could offer some spiritual tools to help you feel love and abundance. So yeah. So for specific, and I can just work on you as I speak if you want. So for people, again, that's what we're always searching for, and that's what this talk was about: understanding your gift. If you're always looking for a spiritual tool to help you, it's a tool. So you would think that the tool is providing you something. So you would never feel complete, even if you had that right in front of you. Does that make sense to you? So, but what if we could say create a frequency that says, you know what? Hey, I'm worth loving. Right? You would naturally feel the love that's around you that you tend to, say, ignore. So. Does that make sense to you? Right? Because there's a lot of loving people around you, but then if you can't hold on to it, kind of like a sieve, no matter how much love gets poured into you, you can never hold on to it. So maybe that spiritual tool is let's help you fix the leaks. Just out of curiosity, did you come from a family of addictions or alcohol, stuff like that? Yeah. So as a young kid, just like that, little girl that came up, when you're a kid, if that makes sense to you, and you look at whoever your father, although your mother might be both alcohol type, from what I'm seeing, maybe one closet, one outwards. So anyway, what happens is that you look at them, they feel like they're really incomplete, basically holes in their spirit. Does that make sense to you? So you go, I really love them because you're really a nice, loving person. It's like they must be right? Because when you honor somebody and respect somebody, what do as a child? You adopt their patterns, right? It's like, gosh, I know this isn't right, especially as a kid, but it's like, God, they're a lot older. They've been around. They should know better. So you put your stuff aside, and then you adopt their patterns. Literally, they're tormented souls, let's say. And that's basically how you live. So no matter how much abundance you have, no matter how much goodness you have, you'd be a tormented type soul. So let's get rid of that. And it's an easy fix. Does that make sense to you, my friend? Yes. There we go. So that some of the tools I can suggest to you and other people is start to become aware of your body. Okay? It's not a tool outside of you. It's not a mantra. Be aware of every aspect of your body. It's different than being mindful. Okay? This is being aware of your body, like your hand gestures, right? When you take a shower, notice how the water runs down your body. When you're washing your hands, notice how you wash your hands. When you walk, notice the details of your walk. Okay? Notice the muscle structure, everything that goes into the details on, say, how you walk, how you hold your phone. You'd be amazed at how much will come back into you, and you'll be amazed at, say, how blessed you are just naturally. And then it's nothing outside of you. Right? There we go. Your father, let's help him cross over. He seems like he's in an abyss. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So he's crossed over, right?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, so let's help your father. So he'll probably, again, so say I help him, he'll probably cross over faster, let's just say. Because he's too afraid to cross over. He's going to fall into an abyss, which he will, That's what he's afraid of. But let's stop that from happening. By the way, that'll help you, because if I help him awaken, and that's what awakened death is, help him awaken, he gets to let go of all the things that you're not, all the experiences that you're not, which allows you to disconnect, because since you're awakened, and that's the way death should happen, right? You're an awakened person, okay? What happens is that you go, oh, all this stuff that happened to me is bullshit. It's not my real self, right? You learn from those experiences that happened to you, so nothing was really good or bad. Again, you accentuate yourself, right? You get stronger. So when you cross over, you don't take any of that stuff behind you. What happens is it releases all the patterns that, people around that death are connected to. It disconnects them as well. So that hereditary patterns, we tend to destroy ourselves, right? Generation after generation. In an awakened state, you don't do that. You clean up after yourself. It cleans up the lineage after you, right? And then while we're on the subject, just work on you a little bit more, your uncle. Not a good situation there. Anyway, so when you're born, say you're an awakened spirit, right? You're born, you get a second chance up to the age 6, 7, and that's where kids ask a lot of questions. Why does this happen? Why does this happen? But what do most parents do? They go, shut up, I know better, right? This is the way it is. And kids go, it doesn't feel right. But then over 4, 5, 6, 7 years, you go, well, that must be how life works here, right? And then they go, oh, okay, I'll let go of all this stuff that I intuitively know. And then by the time you're 8, 9, you've gelled into that. By the time you hit puberty, that's the way you run your life. So, there you go. A lot of realizations will come up for you, my friend. Okay, you're welcome. So, and I know you don't drink or anything, do you? You stay away from it? Yeah, I didn't think so. But staying away from it and just not drinking is something else. Does that make sense? So you'll see that, like I don't drink, I have no need to drink or don't want. So you'll just see that you just are. So there's a difference with that as well. Do you guys understand the difference? Good. So let's do a meditation, guys. And then we'll get into more questions. This is a group meditation. Again, if you want to sit or stand, lie down, that's all good. Again, noticing where you are, the space around you. Let's take a deep breath in. Connecting to the group dynamics. As we take a deep breath in, again, asking ourselves, how do I connect to pure source even stronger? Again, that question, how do I connect to pure source even stronger as we settle in? We're going to go back to that present. Notice how it feels. Do you notice that you own it more? It's part of you. It fits you. Which is really a good, solid indication that you're, say, shifting already. Notice how you feel about deserving that gift. It's more real for you. It's like, hey, I can deserve this. I'm good enough. Does that make sense to you? So again, congratulate yourself on that. And then as I scan you, someone go, well, how's that going to help me with my finances and all that? Well, it's going to help everything with your finances, your situation that you're in. Because now you deserve, right? You're at a higher level of deserving. Like I said before, even if you had $1 million, if you're not deserving, it's satisfied. So now you're at a level, you're at a higher propensity to accommodate abundance. And it's not just about money. It's that natural balance that you're seeking. Does that help you generate those frequencies that help you shift? Just take a deep breath in. Notice where you planted that gift. Notice how it feels, or if you put it on your body like a balm. It's like your identity now. You own it. You're part of it. We'll help you clean up. It's the end of the year. Okay? I gave you your Christmas present. So let's clean up. Again, strong deep breath in, just noticing where you are, noticing the space around you, noticing you in your space, noticing that gift, noticing how you feel, that confidence. Okay? And this isn't emotional. As you know, our emotions are really set off. Right, so we can't trust our emotions. So we'll bypass the emotions. So if you had to take inventory of your life, and we'll just be really honest about it. Okay? Take a deep breath in. We'll go back to the age of 0 when you were born. Again, notice your environment. Again, at 0, or pre-birth. Let's go pre-birth. In your mom's belly. Obviously, we don't remember, but at some level, we remember. Notice your environment. How does your environment feel? And again, just take inventory of that. Feels good, feels bad, whatever it is. A lot of tension, anxiety, right? Some of you kind of going, I wasn't wanted. Maybe you weren't. It is what it is. Are you going to grow and expand from it, or are you going to suffer and wither away from it? You can go either way, it's your choice. Let me just show the possibilities for you if you grow and expand from it, and then again you can choose. We'll go to time of conception. Notice that you came with a lot of stuff, pre-built. Notice that it just, well, you didn't really have a choice because we weren't awakened enough. So imagine how that feels, just pre-built, time of conception, when you got marked into time. So you take a deep breath in. Would you have chosen that pattern if you were awakened? And again, it's not about making mistakes, messing up, or anything like that. We're just taking an inventory. Okay? It's not about choosing the right parents, not the right parents. Because you can learn from anything, expand and grow from it. Let's go forward 6 months. 9 months, time of delivery. Again, we may not feel, some of you kind of feel memories, but notice the general pattern that you're running already, even before you're born. Do you see why your life is the way it is? And I'm just showing this to you so you understand that it's not your fault, but now that you're awakened, you're responsible to changing it. Okay? You had chances, whether you knew them or not, you know, that pattern runs, right? Like I said earlier, you had chances as a kid, but your parents would say weren't awakened for some reason or another. It's just evolution, I guess. So I'm just helping you recreate those patterns. And again, notice the pattern. That's all you have to do. You don't have to replace it. Truth always sets you free, realigns you. Strong deep breath in. Let's go into a year. Again, general pattern. Notice how you feel. You may not remember specific things, but the general pattern, general feeling, general, say, environment. That general environment, is it familiar with how you feel today? 2 years of age. And we're just taking inventory. Whatever emotions come up, shoulda, couldas, why the hell that happened, whatever, you know, you get beat up, whatever it might be. Again, we're just taking inventory. Something, it is what it is, it happened. You can't change that. However, you can change what you get out of the experience that you had. 3 years of age. Even if it's, say, a good environment, again, picking up patterns from parents, older siblings, that probably isn't the best. Ideas, concepts, belief systems, even at that age, as we go up to 3. Four. Again, notice the general pattern. That's all we're looking for. No emotions, but just patterns. Right? The general feel. Does that resonate with your life currently? Do you see where you got it from? As we go up to 5. 4, 5, yeah. 6 years of age. You get the general theme. Many of you say we're awakened. Many of you kind of say try to escape. From what I'm saying, it's like, no, this isn't right. But it's like being in a rut, you know? Pretty hard to escape, right? 7, 8, 9. Do you see the general pattern? Again, you can sit if you'd like. Do you see the general pattern? It's not outside of you. You've integrated with it. It's become part of you. That makes sense to you? So by the time you're 10, 11, 12, do you see that that pattern is you? It's taken over you. Do you see that pattern as we jump to, say, 14, 18, 20, 24? Do you see how that pattern controls your life? You see that everything has happened, dictates that that pattern stays alive. Do you see that no matter what you've tried, and again, out of good intent, false information, whatever it might be, the pattern still runs. Get into your late 20s, 30s. So half your life, let's just say. I don't know how old people are. 3/4 of your life. Do you see how that pattern dictates, no matter what you've done, to say, better your life? That pattern still dictates the way you operate. Could be a little different, but again, the same general direction. No matter how many times you've prayed, how many spiritual events you've gone to, how many whatever, it didn't get to that pattern. So what we do here is get to that pattern. Three-quarters your age, your current age as you look back. You see that pattern familiar with the way your parents run? Now that you're older, siblings, general theme. Maybe not specifics. Some of you run duplicate patterns. So, for example, there's a handful. Say whatever happened to your mom or dad will happen to you. So something happened to them at 23, around 23, something of similar will happen. That's how accurate that pattern is, or creates. The nice thing is, now that you're awakened, you've gotten your gift, you can see that pattern, and you'll see it after this even more clearly, especially with the holidays coming up. You're going to go back to your family, you'll see it's like, holy hell. Who are these people? Well, they're you. You've just elevated, even just by being here, if this is your first time. So it's got nothing to do with them. They're the same. They're just exactly where you were. So as we take a deep breath in, you don't have to do anything with that pattern. Now that you're aware of it, right? Because again, the truth always sets you free now that you're aware of it. Sometimes it's really scary though. It's actually disheartening. It's really sad. Some of the stuff that we've gone through. So be aware of it. But it's just, that's what you've gone through. You have to get rid of all that. Okay? It's like cleaning out your garage or your fridge, right? You've left something way in back. Now it's spoiled, it's rotten, it stinks. We've left that in our life somewhere. So now you got to clean that out. It sucks, but somebody's got to clean out the fridge or your life, and that's you. Nobody else is going to do it. So as we take a deep breath in, going back into your own control, opening your eyes whenever you're ready. Welcome back. As a note, guys, this puts the control back onto you, okay? So there's no like excuses, because now you're awakened, okay? So whether you work on it with me in the future or not, what happens is that, and I'll give you a little detox example. So say that you run abusive relationships, okay? You basically attract people who abuse you for whatever reason. It doesn't matter, okay? You just do, okay? I help you with deleting that pattern or program, okay? Most likely, you'll understand how abuse or why abuse runs in your life, and then most likely, you'll probably attract somebody either new or somebody from the past or your current, that will abuse you, say, a bit more. It's not that they abuse you a bit more, you're just more aware of it, so it looks like it's a bit more. Okay? So it's up to you, and this is the part I can't do for you, and that's why I stress, I can't do this aspect or part for you. I can only show you the patterns that you're running, delete it for you, and then you have to confirm the deletions, right? So I find the files that are messed up in you, that's corrupt. I go, okay, let's delete this file. And you know that little box that says, are you sure you want to delete this file? I can't hit the button for you there. Some of you will cancel that deletion, which is totally fine. But if you're canceling that deletion, for example, say that, you know, I help you, again, disconnect from an abusive relationship type pattern, right? You will meet somebody that just looks perfect on the outside. They're gorgeous, they're a hunk, they're hot, whatever it is, right? But at a deep level, it's like, damn, that reminds me of my ex, or this is not going to be good, right? So what are you supposed to do to confirm that deletion? Say no to that date. But you go, God, Moss, she's so hot. I get that from guys all the time. You own that pattern because you signed off on it. You were totally awake, right? But you continued forward anyway. So it's not your mom's pattern anymore. It's not whoever patterned before. It's yours now. It has more emphasis on you. Okay? So be aware of that. And you can try it out, by the way. That relationship will abuse you even more than ever before. Right? It's got nothing to do with me, so don't go out there and go, yeah, I went to see Moss, I deleted this pattern, and then I got into a worse relationship. Right? So I can't, again, you have to do your part and delete that. Right? So whether it's a person, whether you have a belief system and you know that it's wrong, right? Don't do it. If you have like food and you start to awaken and you go, God, this is what's giving me headaches, whoever that is here, and you just know it, don't eat that food. It's really simple. I know it's, and I'm not trying to make fun of you, but again, you have to like start pulling in and taking control. Again, because I'm just warning you, if you don't, you own that pattern. It's yours now. It gets magnified for you. Okay? Some of you who have control features, say you're really intuitive, right? That intuition comes from a dark or gray source. They control you every time you use your abilities, right? So try not to use your abilities for a little bit. It'll stop, and then you'll disconnect and you'll get your abilities properly. Okay? So again, don't use your intuitions for those that resonate with what I'm talking about. If it doesn't resonate with you, then don't worry about it. All right? More questions? And then we'll do the 21 days. She has a question. Right here. It's the young lady here.
So in the past, I notice right before I have like a really clear understanding of something or like whatever, there's like a lot of confusion, or I feel like I don't really know what's going on.
Right.
I don't know what's happening, but then like sort of something shift, like in that space where it's like shifting, there's a lot of confusion. And I'm feeling like that right now. I'm feeling like I really totally want to get this, and I'm like, but I don't know what my gift is. And I feel that I'm way more here like right present and stuff. Like there's a clarity of being here, but more than there was before. But
but more confusion. So basically, just to reiterate for the online audience, so in the past you were really clear, and now, say again, since you've worked with me, a little more confusion, but there's spots of, say, brilliance or clarity.
No, I mean, like right before I have like a leap in my awareness, there's a lot of confusion, and then all of a sudden it's like sort of like a birth or whatever. You come out and you're like, oh, here I am, like, and then everything gets clear. But I don't trust this space of confusion because I don't know what to do.
Okay, so
I'm a doer.
So either way, so we're both saying the same thing. So literally, the reason why you're in a state of confusion, and that's another process, you'll be in a state of confusion, not sure what to do, not sure where to go, not sure, say, where to, say, have that security, okay? Because everything that you've thought of, basically, that's distorting, you can't access. So that's where your state of confusion comes from. Because anything that you've done in the past, again, that isn't complete, will get, say, deleted for you. Hence your state of confusion. And the reason why you're confused is your brain is looking for a better solution. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So as you find a better solution, you'll gravitate towards that solution, and that's where that clarity comes in. So you're looking for higher and higher levels of better solutions. Does that make sense to you?
But it's hard for me to even hear you, actually, like,
it's okay.
Like what you're saying, because
it always works that way.
It's all right. Confusion.
Yeah, because the reason why that is because, well, there's lots of reasons, but some of the main reasons is that I teach or I tell you stuff from, say, a 3-4 dimensional aspect. Most teachings are very linear, like the way you learn schooling, whatever, is basically regurgitation, right? It's linear. They talk about a subject, they close it, they go to the next subject, they close it. But once you close something, an idea, a thought, it's really hard to go back and add on to that knowledge. That's why we never really say expand or grow from that knowledge. It's basically we just become a library of that knowledge, right? And then you go, you know, I read that somewhere. I wish I knew that knowledge so I can use it. But what I do is actually access many parts of your memory. So that's the way I teach. So although you might be confused or not understand what I say, because again, there's about 7, 8 different parts in your brain center. Okay? So it's not a linear process.
Right.
So what happens is that when I teach you, again, if you're confused, it's okay, but it's going into different realities of your brain center. So you just get to be that knowledge. So later on, you'll have clarity and you go, oh, that's what Moss meant. It happens all the time. So don't worry about understanding conceptually. It's literally the frequencies that I'm generating for you that's more beneficial for you, okay? So in most linear thinking is that knowledge is out there and you try to put it into these compartments, okay? Well, it waters down the knowledge that you have and it doesn't beneficial for you. What I do is like instigate or help you instill knowledge from a different perspective, from the inside out rather than from the outside in. So I change your structure. Does that make sense? So your knowledge base goes up here, and once you go up here, the concepts will clarify in your brain. And then, like I said, that's where you go, oh, it makes total sense what he said. Does that make sense?
How long does that take? I have a hard time being in the, I mean, I want like that to get over to that.
Yeah, and that's what's actually slowed you down over the years.
Yeah.
It literally has, because you have such an objective, and you can't see anything outside of that objective.
Yeah.
So you might have actually reached something that's even better for you, but since you have that clear objective, you'll probably go for something even less, so which isn't the best. Okay.
Thank you.
We'll move on. You're welcome. Sure. Hi.
Hi. I, too, had a near-death experience.
Yes.
But since then, almost 5 years ago, life has been hell. How come you had a near-death experience and you got all these gifts?
Perfect. Is your mother around? So the question was, she had a near-death experience. And ever since then, her life is hell. How come mine have all these gifts, right? Do you want to come on up, Sajady, and I'll work on you real quick? How's your mother, by the way?
What's that?
How's your mother?
Just as negative as ever.
So the reason why I ask, let's just say as she gets older and older and closer to death, because everybody dies, right? She's literally scraping away, making you like more and more transparent. So as she crosses over, she literally will want to jump into you. So it's like out of her body and into yours. Does that make sense to you?
No.
Right in that spine. I know you don't want it, but does that make sense to you? Okay? So basically that's why she keeps pushing you and making you say insecure. She's always, so she's in their family pattern, basically the parents are there to say, wither away at you so they have a nice nest to nestle in after they die, literally. And then what happens? So that pattern, that template of mom is her now, and then she just keeps handing it down. Does that make sense, hon? So you had a near-death experience. Yeah, you said 5 years ago? I kind of see 7 years ago. Did something else happen to you to get you to a near-death experience, maybe? Seems like that kind of feels.
Bad health for 7 years.
Yeah. So something happened, you started having bad health, you have a near-death, and then so that kind of goes back with your mother concept. So basically, when you have a near-death, you get pushed out of the way. That's what your mother wants to do. Pushes you out of the way, so you're disconnected. So you get weaker and weaker and weaker, or your life becomes hell. And then you're agreeable to a lot of things when life isn't going well for you. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you'll go, well, hell, I'll try anything just to figure it out. So your mother suggests, hey, especially when she's in, a dire state or whatever. It's like, will you love me forever? And that kind of stuff from what I'm saying. Yeah, that kind of feel like, I'm here for you, Mom. You know what I mean? That kind of guilt trip type deal. She's not asking to be loved. She's just basically at a deep level, secret code is like, will you love me forever? Well, you go, of course, you're my mom. It's like, oh, good, then I can come in and move in with you. Does that make sense?
She did that once.
There you go. So let's close you up, sweetie. Let's realign you. Because like that last gentleman that had a couple near deaths, his was slight. You had a full disconnect from what I'm seeing. So literally, like for him, he stepped out, but not completely. You literally floated away, complete disconnect, and then you came back in, right? So where you are is here. Where you're supposed to be is here, like here. Your spirit creates you here. So there's a void that always pulls you back, right? Because time and space is a void. It literally is a vacuum. So if you read physics, quantum physics, they talk about voids, space, or the black hole type. That's that void between your identity and where you are. And that's where, no matter how hard you try, you get again pulled back, and you get weaker and weaker. So there you go. So as confirmation to let you know that I did something for you, because anybody could say, I did something for you, right? It's so theoretical, but it's not really. Your mom will start getting meaner and meaner. Okay? Be happy about that. And the reason why is now you've got this Teflon coating she can't grasp. She gets meaner and meaner trying to scrape away at you. So that's why I say be happy on the inside. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay? And you'll see that you've got a protective layer. And you literally, because you're intuitive enough from that near death, you'll see how she erodes your spine. And that's where a lot of your issues come from, because your spine kind of gets weak, and then it pushes on the nerves, and that's where you have issues. So I would do some kind of exercise. Okay? Did all that make sense to you guys? Okay. Now do you see why some of the things that we try to do, well, doesn't really work out for us because the underlying programs. So, but if you look at your family structure, you'll see how. So I don't know how old you are. How old are you? Do you mind me asking? 62. 62? Yeah. So by the time you're like 55, and it's not just you that gets sick or has a near death. Something happens to people like 52 to late 50s, something happens within that segment where something gets distorted. It allows that person to step into you easier. So it's not just you. Just go back in your family history. That's a pattern too. Okay? And you see it time and time again. That lady with the white sweater. Yeah, you want to stand up?
Thank you. I've been doing a lot of growth, but I've had a kind of thing that's
Can you talk louder, honey?
Yep. I've had a thing nagging at me. Despite a lot of growth, I'd really like to complete it. Ever since I was very young, probably less than 2.
Yeah, you've had 3 personalities? Sorry.
What's that? 3 personalities?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on.
I've been very sensitive to my dad, like very repelled. I really never understood it. I just knew I didn't want to be around him. And he's always trying to get in my life, and I just want to keep my distance. And
Sure. Yeah, do you want to come on up really quick and I'll explain the 3 personalities? So say that your environment, your house, environment isn't, say, the best for you, if that makes sense to you. I'll just take you if you don't mind. So what happens is that you try to escape. You know what I mean? You go into your room, you want to be alone, so to speak, and then you create, say, fantasy worlds, or fantasy realities, or fantasy friends that are, say, nicer to you. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Well, the friends that you connect with are those make-believe friends, but not necessarily make-believe. Does that make sense? Did you used to see things when you were younger?
not that I know of.
You didn't, say, dream about things? Daydreams? Did you play with things and make believe? Do you remember your child? Let's put it that way.
Well, maybe not.
You don't.
Maybe not.
So anything past 8? Before 8, 9?
I just have a couple specific, like I can remember like around 2 where I don't remember laughing after that.
Yeah. So basically that's what happened to you. But what happens is, and this is where, say, again, say at 2, and then nothing happened. So that was your clearest memory of yourself, and then you basically invited some friends into you because the environment wasn't, say, so safe. So you prefer to be with friends. So just to help you understand that, so you'd be the type of person that would need at least 3 people around them. Does that make sense? If you look at your friends, there's like 3 physical friends around you, or sets of 3. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. So anyway, so you have 3 different personalities that jump into you, again, because they're not really make-believe, they're just like on the other side, and then they basically push you out, and then they control your life. So, and I know that sounds kind of strange, but even now you probably have memory lapses where you might not remember what happened.
Yeah,
okay.
Memory struggles.
Yeah, okay. So let me explain that, because I'm not a doctor, but you don't have memory lapses, okay? But think of it this way. So say you have 3 different people that jump into you, right? So one person experiences something, like they take over and they go, hey, I'm going to experience this part of the drive, okay? They jump out when it's time. Another, say, personality jumps in. Those two don't communicate. And that's why you have memory lapses, so to speak, or you forget about stuff. Does that make sense to you?
I can relate to that, like the driving, yeah.
Yeah. So now imagine that there's 3 people, you're the 4th person. And then you try to, say, put your life together, right? Because you're always trying to put your life together. Does that make sense to you?
That part makes a lot of sense.
Well, that's why. It's like you have 3 troublemakers.
I feel like I have troublemakers.
Yes.
But I can't really identify what you're talking, like.
That's who they are.
Okay.
So you have 3 troublemakers, and then you come home, it's like, what the hell happened to my life? And then you try to reassemble it, and you do a great job. And then something else takes over you, again, one of those, and then they mess up. Okay? So what I was doing for you is just literally getting rid of those troublemakers. Okay?
Where do they hang out?
You. They literally take over your identity. So say you're driving somewhere, right? Somebody takes over your driving. It's like, move over, I'm taking over. They get to go wherever they want. They go, I'm out of here. Somebody else comes in. So you don't remember that part of your trip. Does that make sense to you? Okay? So later on, when it's your turn to jump back in, you'll go, what the hell happened in my life? How much time was spent, right, that you didn't know about, right? And then you try to, say, reclaim your life. So anyway, let's push you back in. Does that make sense to you guys? I mean, people seeing it from the outside, they go, okay, yeah. It's a little hard to fathom it from the inside, but ask your friends. You'll probably lose some friends, by the way, okay? Because they basically mimic the 3 people that control you, okay? One's like super aggressive and then really nice.
Yep.
Okay, that's the one. That's a troublemaker on the inside, okay? So you, again, you represent that, okay? One feels like a sister type feel. Yeah. That's always there for you, if that makes sense, or makes believe that she's always there for you, but then she's never there for you when it comes time.
That makes sense.
You're always there for her. That's the other personality, and then this other one.
And so to cope with the childhood is?
Well, yeah, the way that's the way you coped. You basically disconnected at 2 or 3. So, there we go. So what I did was allow them to leave. So your life, you're going to put it back together one last time, and then you'll see that a lot of memory snippets will come back. Does that make sense? It's really powerful, yeah. Yeah, and you won't have memory issues, by the way. You actually have really good memory.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Will they be able to come back to her and like reattach?
Good question. So for you, and this is where you confirm the deletions, okay? So say later for you, you know, whether it's physical or something spiritual that'll happen, you go, gosh, you know, my life is good now. What is there out there that can help me grow even more? And then maybe at that point, something will show up, or like a spiritual teacher or something like that will happen because you believe in that stuff. I don't, and I'm in the industry. But you believe in that stuff, and you go, oh, this person is going to help me. So they basically allow something to funnel into you. So when that comes time, don't believe spiritual teachers or anything like that. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm not a spiritual teacher, by the way. So those are, what am I? Oh, nothing spiritual. I just give you the logic on how stuff works. Although you will have the most spiritual experience, not because of what I do, but it's about you finding yourself. Okay? So, does that make sense to you? People who will like try to abuse you and stuff, like say your friends, especially the one that's abusive, they'll abuse you even more.
You mean the what I've taken on to cope?
Yeah, your
That
friends,
friend?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
they'll abuse you even more because that pattern is dead in you.
So they'll try and revive it? Is
Yes.
what you're kind of saying? I
Yes, so
should
you have to
expect some of
stand
that?
your ground.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So again, it's confirming those deletions.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You bet. So always ask, don't trust anybody. Always ask if they're a pure source and pure intent for you. Okay? I did like that question about the spiritual teacher, though, which is good. So at 9:30, we've got just a few more minutes. So 9:30, what we do is a 21-day meta healing. And we just started actually today, this morning. So what that is that you meditate either once or twice with me during the day here in Minneapolis. It's 9:30 a.m. and p.m. The a.m. one is for the foundational or new people or people who are really sensitive to frequencies, because I generate a lot of like intense frequencies in the accelerated version. People who've been on the accelerated version, would you agree with that? Right? It's really intense, and it'll really distort you if you're not comfortable with those frequencies. Okay? If you are comfortable, it's really good. So think of it this way. Again, I'm not trying to scare you. It's just that you will release in a very short time a lot of the garbage and distortions that we talked about. Okay? Even if it's beneficial for you, right? If it's released in such a short period of time, it'll like distort you or destabilize you. So if you're gung-ho on that, that's totally cool, okay? But I would suggest, again, taking the foundational for a bit till you get strong and kind of understand the concepts on what I talk about. Again, really own it, and then take the accelerated, okay? So this is the accelerated, but it's the first night, so it's okay. But you'll see the frequencies that I generate even on the first night as we go through, okay? And we'll start at 9:30. Do I just add on another call? Okay, perfect. Yeah, so other questions? Anybody new, by the way? So I mentioned about time and space and going into the void. And when you're meditating, are you going into the void? For some people, you actually get pulled into the void. So the difference between what I do in normal meditation or hypnosis or NLP or mantras or goal setting or anything like that is all those, if you've noticed, is you're reaching outside of yourself to feel whole and complete, right? No matter what you do, right? You meditate, where do you go? You go somewhere outside of yourself. You go hypnosis, you go meditation, you go yoga. Again, what do? You go outside of yourself. What I do is actually pull you back into yourself. And this is where, again, you get to see what stuff is not you, what is you, and then that's where you get to release it. So instead of being, say, like normal meditation, you know, you're only happy that 1 hour or half hour, right? This is like you're happy 24 hours after you clean up. So you run with a higher version of yourself all the time. You're not escaping. So, and that growth comes from inside you, not outside of you. So you feel more and more complete. Okay? That's how abundance works. That's how anything works, by the way. That's satisfying for you. Did we pick somebody? Pick anybody. The guy at the hat is cool. Oh.
Hey, Moss. Can you provide some insight on the causality of synchronicities? So, for instance, synchronicities for me occur a lot more when I feel like I'm aligned, I'm present, and I'm on the path, if you want to call it that.
Yes.
Tell me more about that in the metaphysical world and what that means for me.
Sure. And I'll just work on you from there. Cool. That makes sense? Okay? Your spine and it's like this part of you. I don't know, there's just something going on there. So basically synchronicities, so correct me if I'm wrong on how synchronicities work, is that, say you have an underlying program, and it's synchronous either negatively or positively, okay? You have that underlying program, that makes sense to you. Your emotions, your intuition, everything is synced with the underlying program. So your emotions are basically tools calibrated to accommodate the underlying program. So if you have distorted or abusive type programs that are running in you, what will happen is that your emotions, right, your intuition will guide you to abusive and distorted type programs. That makes sense to you? So that's synchronous. But most people don't think of it as synchronous. Do you notice how many things just happen to you over and over and over again that are very similar? Those are synchronous patterns. Does that make sense? But again, we don't think of it that way. We just think that's just the way life works. So in your case, again, probably working with me and so on like that, what's happened is that you get to release yourself of that program or pattern. You come into a higher state of being. Basically, your spirit, in your case, is taken over. And it's like, okay, you know what? You didn't quite understand, say, where the path is. I'm going to take your hand and just guide you down the path. Does that make sense to you? For you? Okay? Do you want to come on up? I'll just work on you while you're here, since you feel that way. Yeah, that's just. Yeah. So, so what happens is that your spirit takes over and literally, say, guides you down, say, the shortest, say, route to getting on your path. So it allows you to get rid of all the garbage that's there for you. So when things just start to happen for you, synchronicity-wise, so things just show up for you. So when you start to clean up, right? Things, again, people who've worked with me, right? Things naturally show up for you. The people, places, things, remedies, ideas, concepts, again, they just naturally show up for you. So your spirit is teaching you on how, say, life works. Okay? Things that aren't supposed to show up for you, well, they don't. Or if they're supposed to disappear in your life, no matter what you believe in, they disappear in your life. Okay? So, again, that's how synchronicity works. Basically, it's just underlying programs that dictate. So that's why I say never trust your emotions. Okay? Always understand where your emotions have taken you in the past. Okay? So, now that you know that, would you trust your emotions? Okay? Although you hear it over and over again, right? Trust your emotions, honey. Follow your heart. Only follow your heart and your emotions once they're calibrated. Okay? And it'll get you into the right direction. Look back in your experiences. Again, if it hasn't gotten you to where you wanted to, if you haven't been in stronger state because you followed your emotions, well, maybe it's time to calibrate and understand where your emotions have taken you in the past. There we go. And as you do that, again, it becomes synchronous, let's say. How are you feeling?
Good.
Yeah, just like a whole bunch of crap just like
for sure
fell off of you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Cheers.
So, you bet. So those are all the patterns of people tend to load their stuff on you, burden you basically. So you're at a point where that's not acceptable anymore. So, all right. Other questions? You, the guy with, yeah, him. You want to come on up? Yeah. Do you have the mic, sweetie?
Thank you. And I was here up with you last time you were here.
Oh, you were?
Healed something.
Okay, then get back.
Right
no,
here.
Just kidding. No,
I'd be happy
I'm just
to.
Kidding. I'm just
interestingly, my son, he's 33.
Okay.
He has been dealing with alcoholism.
That's what I say. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's but he's seeing that and things. What can I do with me and my healing that can positively influence the people in my life?
You've actually done a great job, because when I see alcoholism in you, I don't see that pattern running in you anymore. So whatever that you've done with me has eliminated that. But I can work on your son through you. So if you have a loved one, guys, so if you have a loved one, the 21-day meditations, you can imagine, say, them meditating with you. Okay? For you, I wouldn't imagine them meditating with you, because he kind of distorts you. So imagine him meditating like at his house, not around you. Okay? Because you're not strong enough just yet. Does he have a girlfriend? So he kind of runs. So So in your case, your son probably, the mother, say, wasn't, say, the best for him. So basically, he gets controlled by females. Okay? So what happens is that he'll attract a female, a girlfriend, that will abuse him, just like alcohol will. So, that makes sense to you? And it's a male pattern, abuse. So, again, not the best for him, because he's male, and she's now running, say, male. So, not to get personal or anything, but intimacy, sexual encounters between the two, it seems more abusive type sex, you know, or intimacy rather than, you know, what sex is supposed to be. So those kind of patterns are kind of running in you still. So let's release that. It'll change, say, your relationships. But for him, just separating them. And again, if I work on him, it's up to you to, say, keep working on him through the 21 days because he'll get stuck because he doesn't have that momentum going forward, okay? So again, you'd have to bring him into the 21 days. So again, just helping him step back a little bit so he gets to see how his life is. Because if you're stuck in it, kind of like a void, you don't get time to check how your life is. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. There we go. Good? Yeah. And you're actually a quick fix. You just change like that. So let's start the 21 days, guys, and then we're done. Just give me a second, guys. So what we're doing is we're connecting with a couple hundred other people around the world. Huh? I can just use this one. Just 1 second, guys. Good morning, evening, afternoon, Moss here. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the 21 Days December Accelerated. We're here with a lovely group here in Lake Harriet Spiritual Center. We're just going to merge the calls. And if somebody can just make sure that I'm on both lines, that'd be fantastic. We're good? All right, awesome. So we'll get started again. Welcome to the 21 Days. We'll get started right away. Can somebody hit record too? That'd be fantastic. Thanks. So again, the 21 days, we just started today. It's actually 4 free days. Not tonight because it's accelerated, but 4 free days like in the morning. So you get a chance on if you'd like it or not. Within those 4 days, you'll actually feel the difference. So if you guys want to stand up or sit down, whatever you guys want, whether you're here online, let's go ahead and take a deep breath in, just noticing where you are, noticing the space around you, noticing you in your space. And this is the accelerated version, okay? So I'm not going to water it down because, well, the people on the accelerated version, they invested so that they get what they paid for. So for you guys, basically it's just a little more intense. or a lot more intense. So, strong deep breath in again, just acknowledging where you are, noticing the space around you. I'm just going to sit. Connecting to the mastermind. Okay. Now the mastermind, as I work on you, whether you're here physically or online, both lines. The mastermind, in this case, is a higher consciousness, several levels above. Yeah. Strong deep breath in again. Asking ourselves, how do I connect to pure source even stronger? Again, nothing religious or spiritual. You're asking yourself, how can I be my best possible self? Again, that question is, how can I be my best possible self? The most important answer to that is letting go of your old self, your current state, your current self-image. Most people don't realize that. So as I tap into you, to the accelerated class, people here, you think you're adding on something in addition to yourself. You're not. That's why this is different. As we take a deep breath in, noticing your spine, your tailbone. It'll help you center and stay centered. So what happens for people is they have a corrupt foundation and they want to add on to that. They have an unstable foundation, say a house. You want to add on an addition or another floor to it. It's not going to hold out. It's not going to hold it. That's why your life doesn't work out well. What this does is, well, takes away that foundation. And again, this is the first day of the accelerated. As we take a deep breath in, noticing your spine, and then your mid-back. So from your mid-back to your tailbone. So whether you're here or online, as you pay attention to that, become aware of the rest of your body. Always focus in on that part of it, though. And then to help you stay centered, begin noticing your tailbone and working up to your mid-spine, so where your ribs connect to your spine. Down. Just noticing your spine. As we note your spine, not just the back side of your spine, but inside your body, right? The other side of your spine. So it's a 3D, like walking around your spine, feeling your spine from all aspects, feeling the vertebrae that make your spine, feeling that space in between your spine, Again, a lot of detail. If your mind wanders, bring it back. It allows you to start controlling, because if you can't control your mind, somebody else will. If you can't control your life, somebody else is. This is a great way to get back control, right? Your mind wanders. Bring it back as you pay attention to what's happening or what your mind is thinking about. If you're new to me, again, might be a little disorienting. But for the accelerated class, you should be at that level. And if you're not, keep practicing. So as you note your spine, again, from the beginning of where your ribs meet your spine to the tailbone, start getting comfortable with reference points. So notice your spine in comparison to what's in front of you. Whether your eyes are closed or open, doesn't matter. Notice your spine compared to what's behind you. And kind of judge the different distance, it doesn't have to be accurate, to the sides of you. As you take a deep breath in from your tailbone, up your spine to the upper back, so not quite your neck area, but right between your shoulder blades. So again, noticing your spine all the way around. Noticing your ribs connected to your spine, all the details of your spine. As you pay attention to your environment. So if it's in front of you, notice your spine, the organs in front of your spine, your flesh, for those who accelerated, your spirit body, and then what's in front of you environmentally. So notice the details to your spine, and then everything in between, even if it's inside you. It's all about reference points. Literally, if you want total abundance, if you're completely precisely here, okay, in time and space, you would be all abundant automatically, almost instantly. But many of us don't have those abilities. But even if you're precise a little bit, you'll see that your life will become abundant. Okay? You don't have to do anything. Whatever that you need, more knowledge, intelligence, investors, whatever it is, diet plans, confidence. Once you're aligned, as we take a deep breath in from your tailbone all the way up to your neck. So the beginning of your shoulders, the start of your neck. Noticing every aspect of your vertebrae. The more aligned you get, again with reality, the more abundant you become. It's that simple. You don't need ancient scriptures, ancient teachings, knowledge, nothing. As we take a deep breath in, noticing your spine all the way up to the top of your neck, right? So where your skull meets the top of your spine. Notice that connection, or feel that connection, be that connection. Notice all the way around, okay? Notice any pains, injuries, and so on like that. We'll work on that as well. Again, not a doctor in any way. Let's just ramp up the frequencies for you. Again, noticing your spine, top to bottom, all the way around. For those advanced, counting out the vertebrae. If you need help, look at a textbook on how a healthy spine would look like, especially if you have spine issues. And then imagine that. As you note your spine, notice what's behind you. Compared to your spine, the wall, the chair, whatever it is, whatever, say, comes into your mind. It's really a simple concept. Use Google Maps. The way it pinpoints where you are. They have 3 global positioning systems, GPS. Those 3 reference points tell you exactly where you are. Okay? Your spirit needs to know exactly where you are to create abundance for you. And I'll give you solid proof on that, how that works. But noticing your spine as you inhale, exhale, notice how that affects your spine, your rib structure, your muscular system, as you pay attention to all the details that's been happening to you every breath that you've taken since the beginning of life that nobody's paid attention to. Again, the key to your abundance, right there. Nothing outside of you. No drugs, surgeries, whatever. It won't help you if you're not connected. As we take a deep breath in again from the core, from the base of your spine, all the way up to the top of your spine, all the way around. Notice what's above you compared to your spine. So why would you get, say, off-center? You get abused. What do? You step out of your body, those people who've been abused, right? You have a near death, disconnects you. All the experiences that you've had, good or bad, distorts you. You're egotistical because you're confident, distorts you. Again, millions of ways of why you're not accurately where you're supposed to be. noticing where you are. For many, as I pick up on you, do you notice that you're clear already? Nothing's changed physically for you yet, but you're clear already. You're more stable. To give you an example on this proven method, it's been proven for billions of years. It's nothing new, it's not a new theory. It's a timeless theory, but nothing new. Look at nature. Anything in nature. If you look at it from 1 million years ago till today, till 1 million years after, do you notice that it's timeless? It's always in sync. It's always brilliant. Sure, there's things dying, but it's always replenishing. And it's always abundant. It's always complete. It's always optimized. It's always in the present moment. It can't move away from the present moment like humans can. That's where distortion happens. There's a benefit to it. It's not bad. So as we take a deep breath in again, noticing your spine. As I generate those frequencies, and then the accelerated literally forces you. That's why you signed up for the accelerated. Basically forces you to become congruent with yourself, whether you're ready or not. Again, if you're not ready, it's just tougher till you fit in. Right? Always noting your spine as you note what's around you. You can do this in your waking hours as well. As you take a deep breath in. For those people online, you can stay here for as long as you wish. I highly recommend it, especially for the accelerated class, because it's all about you coming into control. For those of us who can't, when you're ready on the exhale, noticing your spine, noticing your surroundings as you open your eyes, looking around you in reference to your spine. Did you notice that I didn't talk about being good, being bad, spiritual stuff? Anything like that? Not that there's anything wrong with it, but to get spiritual, to get advanced, whatever you practice, right? The best, most efficient way is to understand where you are right here, right now. That make sense to you guys? Okay? That's all you really need. What I do is I just help you realize, say, where you are right here, right now, at a much faster clip. Now, you can do it on your own, by the way. Again, I just help you realize all that stuff that's not congruent with you. And as you do, you peel things away. Okay? Very intense night. I would highly recommend for those people here. Drink a lot of water, kind of relax, go home. Okay? Some of you who get distorted, be careful while you're driving, because, again, realities kind of shift and get distorted as you come more and more congruent with yourself. Okay? So be careful while you're driving. Pay attention to things that are out on the road for you. Okay? So it keeps you here. Does that make sense to you? Okay? Thanks for being here, guys. Notice what you notice, and then start noticing the details of what you notice. All right?